First of all, let's talk just broadly about African stock exchanges and the collaboration we're seeing. And give us your thoughts on how those markets are coming together. One of the things I heard recently, though, is that there's a plan to have an integrated African index to really put Africa on the map.
That is correct. You're talking in terms of the ASEA, which is the Association for Securities, African Securities Exchanges Association. That's right. Nigeria is a member, as are 21 other exchanges all around the continent. Now, ASEA is about to sign an agreement with FTSE. We're going to be developing a Pan-African index series, and 22, all the exchanges that are members of ASEA, as long as their data is able to be transmitted electronically within the criteria set by FTSE, we will have an index or a series of indices that will be representative of all the stocks that are available in the African market.
What's the additional benefit of that index? We already know that there's quite a very huge flow into frontier markets. Recently, Nigeria has obviously benefited significantly from that over the last few years.
I think it gives us an opportunity for greater exposure. A lot of the smaller African exchanges do not receive the same amount of attention as, say, we do. When you look at exchanges like the JSE or EGX, which is the Egyptian Stock Exchange, or even the Bourse of Casablanca, those are some of the largest exchanges on the continent. In fact, JSE is no longer considered a frontier, it's an emerging market.
Right.
So this would give the other exchanges that don't really receive the same type of attention, but that actually have some good products that they trade, it would give them the same kind of opportunity as the bigger exchanges on the continent.
But clearly, to make those investments, you've got to have the opportunities. You have to have companies listed, and that's generally a dearth of that on the continent today. And how do you see things changing in that in that light? I know Nigeria in particular, it's been a topical issue recently.
Well, yes, I believe Oscar was on the show earlier today, at least on a recording. It has been our #1 priority. We have put together a business development strategy for the exchange, and we've been very aggressive. In fact,
But Oscar mentioned you're speaking to as much as 500 companies.
Yes, we are. He would sometimes tell you that we have a pipeline of about 120 that are actually ready to list. What we have seen with the downturn of the market is a lot of companies are just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right timing, waiting for a little bit of liquidity to come back in. But going back to your question about some of the other exchanges, you do have some exchanges in Africa that have up to 6 listed companies, whereas in Nigeria we have just shy of 200. Now, with the ASEA, the FTSE ASEA index, there is a country cap. There is a weighting cap on the number of shares that any one country can represent in the index. So that's how we're actually going to try and give some exposure to the other countries.
Right.
But Nigeria, yes, exciting things happening, great pipeline of companies that are looking to list and raise some money.
We are definitely looking forward to that. Absolutely, I can tell you. It's a big discussion point recently in Nigeria. But coming back to ASEA and what you're doing, more collaboration. I'm hearing about financial literacy programs in collaboration with the ADB.
Yes, as part of one of our mandates for the year, the chairman, who is actually Sunil Bedi-Madhu, he's the CEO of the Mauritius Stock Exchange, is looking for us to develop a partnership with the African Development Bank. Now, there are multiple areas we would like to partner with them in. One of them is really supporting the increase of listings on exchanges across the continent. We've heard a lot about privatization in Nigeria. Lots of other countries are looking to go down that route too. That's nothing new. You've seen it in a lot of developed nations where their stock exchanges actually benefited from privatization. So we're kind of looking for the support from the AFDB in that capacity. Financial literacy, absolutely one of them as well. The effect of the global meltdown, we were not the only exchange to witness that. And in fact, last year, we did suffer a little bit of a hit, but that was consistent throughout the continent. And what we're finding is that the issues that we are experiencing in Nigeria are the same thing that our counterparts are experiencing. So financial literacy is absolutely key, teaching investors how to invest in the market for the long term and not for the short term.
And the final point on regional integration in particular, I know it was on the front burner prior to the new management of the NSC. Give us a sense of where that is going now. There's talk of Ghana, the BRVM, and Nigeria coming together. Do you think that's something that is imminent?
I think that you will see that integration is a key theme across the globe. Integration doesn't have to come in terms of ownership stake. A lot of bourses across the world are doing integration in different ways, through technology, through alliances, such as what we're doing with FTSE. There are different ways to do it, and I think as part of extending a reach, part of extending the exchange's reach, it would be important to collaborate with other exchanges to see how we can actually help each other grow, as well as help ourselves grow. West Africa is not the largest market, but it is a pretty large market in terms of the rest of the continent. And you've got 3 pretty solid bourses that could really make a difference in terms of regional power, might I say. Right. So yes, we would be open to it, and it would happen in different ways, but we're not really clear on how or when.
Right. Well, we look forward to however it happens. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for joining us.